is Shelby Jones. I am auditioning today for the Albuquerque YogaSix yoga teacher position. I am an Albuquerque native. I've lived here my whole life. I graduated from UNM 3 years ago studying English and medieval studies. And in this past year, I have been teaching yoga. I took a 200-hour training about a year ago, and I'm really excited to hold this flow for you today. So we're going to go ahead and get started in our child's pose. So our knees can be together or about max distance apart, walking your hands out, melting your chest onto the mat, and taking a few breaths here. After a few breaths, we're going to bring our knees together and we're going to walk out into our plank pose. So feet behind you, toes pushing into the mat, core is strong and lengthened and pushing through your shoulders. Your shoulders should be over your wrists, fingers spread wide, and leading from your tailbone, we're going to push ourselves into our downward facing dog. Just pedaling it out, warming up, really pressing through that thumb and index finger on both of your hands, and trying to feel the stretch more in our back and our legs. If your heels don't touch down, that's okay. We're just going to try to find some stillness and take a few breaths here in our downward dog. On an inhale, we're going to move forward into our plank pose. And from here, roll your shoulders under, and you can either come down onto your knees or you can stand up on your toes. We're going to lower out halfway down into our chaturanga. And moving up through our upward facing dog and tucking those toes, lifting your chest, eye gaze lifts, and coming back, downward facing dog. Good. Pedal it out. A couple breaths here. On an inhale, we're going to lift that right leg up behind us and bring it through base of our lunge. Good. Hold here for just a breath or two. And slowly we're going to lift up, coming into that crescent lunge. Lifting up from the hips. Hips should be square with the wall in front of you. Either reaching up, or you can have your hands at heart center. From here, we're going to step this back foot up just a step or two, lining it up with the top corner of that mat. And keeping this front leg bent in our warrior one. Again, your hips should be square with that front wall, and your hands can be at heart center or reaching up above you. A few breaths, strong warriors. From here, hands come down to the mat, framing that foot, and bringing this front leg back into our plank pose, and another chaturanga, lowering halfway down, and up through our upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Great, we're gonna do our next side. So lifting that left leg up three-legged, and bring it through base of your lunge. Deep breath here. And slowly raising up into our crescent lunge. Relaxing those shoulders so they're not creeping up into your ears. And stepping that back foot up about a foot or two. Warrior one. Again, hands can be heart center or up above you. Just breathing. Maybe coming back to your intention for your class today. And hands come down to frame that foot. Bring this front leg back, plank pose, and chaturanga. Coming into our downward facing dog. A couple of breaths here. Remember, downward dog is a resting pose. And you can return to this pose anytime you feel you need to throughout your practice. Inhale, right leg up. We're gonna bring it through our crescent lunge. And hands come up. Deep breaths here. And we're gonna windmill, placing that back foot down, arms open wide, warrior two. Let's do our checks. Make sure this front knee is stacked on top of that ankle. Hips should be square with the side wall. And arms reaching out, elongated, gently gazing over that front hand. Good. Couple more breaths here. And coming back through our crescent lunge. Hands come down, framing that foot. And back into our downward facing dog. Time for the other side, so we're going to inhale, left leg, up and down, three-legged down dog. Inhale, bring it through, base of your lunge. And coming up into our crescent lunge. Great job. We're going to windmill it out, opening into our warrior two. How's your alignment here? Is that knee stacked over that ankle, hips more, or heels more or less in one line? Just breathe here. Coming back to your intention. And back into our crescent lunge. Hands come down, frame that foot. Downward facing dog. Great job. From here, we're going to bring our knees down and rest back into our child's pose for a couple breaths. Great job. When you're ready, we're going to slowly roll it up, coming into tabletop. So your hands should be right underneath your shoulders, fingers spread wide, and those knees should be stacked right underneath those hips and about hips distance apart. Finding some strength here, some stillness, and a few breaths. Good. On an inhale, we're going to drop our belly, eye gaze lifts, coming into our cow. Exhale, round your spine, pushing down, cat pose. Inhale, cow, and exhale, cat. Really feeling the curving in your spine, really getting into it in this cat pose. Cow pose, dropping the belly, not straining your neck. And in cat, really pushing away everything. Dropping that head. And relax. Good. You want to take some organic movements, maybe some hip twists, some hip circles, whatever feels good. Great job. And coming back into your child's pose once more. And good. Thank you so much for flowing with me today.